Hi TikTok, this is attorney David Nguyen again, and this is going to be my last video for this week. I didn't realize how easy it was to make videos on my phone, so now that I do, probably I'll record videos on my phone versus trying to set it up in the office. So one really big change that I noticed this week is regarding the US visa reciprocity schedule. So if you don't know what this is, you're not alone, unless you're an immigration attorney. So when you're submitting foreign documents to the US government, let's say your birth certificate, marriage certificate, adoption decree, any of these legal documents, if you go on the US visa reciprocity schedule by the Department of State, you can search up based on your country where to get certain documents and which ones are acceptable. For example, if you are Canadian, if you go on the website and you look up birth certificate, it will indicate that Canadian short form birth certificates are no longer acceptable and you have to provide the long form Canadian birth certificate. One difference or change that I noticed just in the last couple of days is regarding the fact that they're making changes and not notifying anyone of it. So very particular about India. So usually for birth certificates, if you do not have a birth certificate, let's say you were born before 1970, before they started issuing birth certificates, you can easily provide 2 witness affidavits instead of a birth certificate from a government agency in your country. However, now the government seems to have changed certain wording on the visa reciprocity schedule. So now it indicates that the affidavits, if you don't have a birth certificate, must come from relatives and not just from maybe a neighbor or co-worker of your parents, that kind of thing. So be very careful. The government is just changing things without telling anyone nowadays. Also, I noticed is that instead of just providing the witness affidavits in lieu of a birth certificate, they're also requesting a certificate of non-availability from that agency. So right now, if you're filing documents, let's say, for example, you filed for your parents or your spouse or maybe a fiance or a sibling, and you filed it a couple years ago and everything was fine with the documents you provided, just know that now I would double check the US visa reciprocity schedule because the supporting documents that you may need probably have changed and the government is quietly doing these changes or making these changes without notifying the public with a general announcement. You definitely want to double check that visa reciprocity schedule to make sure that the documents that you have are sufficient to give you the immigration benefit that you're seeking. Again, this is attorney David Nguyen with Winning Law, and we hope that we have made immigration easier to understand.